What's up guys, back with another Twinmotion tutorial. I'm going to show you how I created this exterior rendering using Twinmotion. Let's get right into the video. Alright, so now that we have our model, the first thing I like to do is give you a little bit of a tour and just kind of show you what we're working with. We do have two prefab houses that I've modeled myself, and you can actually get these models at reboot.com and check it out. It's very high quality Revit models, 100%, and you can learn a lot from these models. And I got a lot of reviews, I got a lot of comments, and I'm hearing nothing but good things about it. So check it out. Again, it's at reboot.com. All right, so right now we have our model here, and one of the things I like to do is pick one of my best compositions or one of the best perspectives that I want to use as a rendering. So currently I already created my image, but you can actually create whatever view that you want. Just make sure that it has a good perspective, good composition. And we're going to start off with the perspective that I selected personally. So I wanted a head-on perspective where I'm looking right at both of my prefab houses, and you can see a lot of the landscape. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to add a little more landscape here in the front, and I want to add some in the back here. So we do already have these bushes here, and we have some here as well, and there, and as well up here. So I used Max Tree to accomplish this, to give it a more realistic feel, and I believe Max Tree does a very good job with their landscape trees and tools and assets that they offer. So let's go to Max Tree, and we're going to add some. So as you can see here, I do have my sandstone rock here. So I just wanted to add, so if you look at it, we're on a hill, right? And I wanted to add some stone here, and then we will come over with some grass. So as you can see, we use the Twinmotion Smart Grass. So if I click on that, we do have different views here. Right now I have the long grass used here. You can use different types. We can use the flat grass, straight grass, long grass, or field grass. I use the long grass because I didn't want it to stick up very high, and I think that the long grass look good with the end of my rendering. So you can change the scale, you can change the fuzziness and the spawn angle, and you can actually enable the color, and you can give it a tint, and you can change the color variation. So right here we have one, and I think that it turned out pretty well. But let's get back to our sandstone. So I used the sandstone rock from Megascan. So you can go here and you can type in rock, and you get a different choice of rocks, boulders, small boulders, just depending on what you're seeing that you want it to match with. You can use any of these to your liking and to help fit in your scene. So I use a sandstone rock, and I use one here as well. But let's get to Max Tree. So we're gonna add some landscaping here and some on the back side of our house. All right, so we're gonna go to Populate, and we're gonna go to Place, Spacing, and here are my options that I have that I've downloaded from Max Tree. Now again, these this landscape, these plants, these bushes that you are looking for, you can get on Max Tree for free. You got to download it. So I already downloaded them, already inserted them into Twinmotion. So we're going to get them, and we're going to drag them here into our drop and asset here. So now that I have them, I'm going to click on these three dots here and I'm going to click split. And now I have different choices that I can choose from. So we're just gonna pick one here. So now, as you can see, I have my starting point and we're gonna select here. And maybe we'll stop there and then we'll add a point down here. So now we're gonna hit escape. And as you can see, I do have my bushes here that they appear. And now I have more options that I could use. So I'm going to move that all the way over to kind of straighten them out. And we can change our count. We can do our random lateral offset if you want to give some offset to your landscape there. We can change the count. We can make them a lot more, as you can see. But I think a good amount will probably be, we can stick to, let's do 20. All right, so that looks good. So now we're going to add some back here as well, our backside. So we're going to escape out of that. And I'm just going to click populate again. And I'm going to drag and drop. And we're just going to repeat that. Split. And we'll pick a different one. So now we'll come here. We'll escape. All right. So easy enough. So as you can see, we now have our landscape here in the front by our retaining wall here, and we also have landscape in the backside. All right, so now that we have that just kind of, I just wanted to show you guys how I created that using Maxtree, and I repeated that same technique here along this house here. Okay, so now that we have all that, we're going to create an image. And for those who pay attention or watch my YouTube channel, I already create my image and my perspective. You can do it on your own, just to kind of make sure that this video is not too long. But we're gonna go ahead and click on it. So I made my perspective here, and this is what we're gonna create. I already got lighting set up and lighting set up in here as well. And if you're wondering what type of lighting I used, I did use some area light, and also use some neon lights. So we can scroll in here so you can kind of see what the lighting looks like. So just kind of scrolling in, just kind of giving you an idea of how I lit my scene and how it came out. Guys, if you're liking this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for me. All right, so now that we have that, let's go back to our scene. So now we're gonna go through some of our settings and we're gonna make some adjustments. All right, so here we have HDRI and we have Sky Dome. I definitely wanna keep these settings here, but what I'm going to do is I wanna change my HDRI. So here we're gonna go to, okay, let's not open, but let's go to library. Go to user library, and here I have my local HDRIs. So I store a couple HDRIs from different websites. You can get some from Ambient and a couple other places. I have used the Evening Sky HDRI, and we're gonna drag and drop this one onto our scene. So as you can see, it did make it a little dark, which is okay. We're gonna make some more adjustments along the way. Now our intensity is at 1. So let's see if we can brighten that up some. All right, so that came out very bright, but that's okay. We're gonna make some more adjustments. So rotation, let's make our rotation not that high, 135. Let's go to details. We're gonna keep our directional light match HDRI. We want to match the lighting and reflections of our selected HDRI, so we're going to leave that selected. Okay. We're not going to use our season or anything else. I think everything else looks pretty good. Intensity is at 20, our rotation's at 135. We're using Skydome HDRI. Okay, it looks good. So now let's move on to camera. So here in camera, we have auto exposure selected. We're gonna keep that selected, that's fine, but we're still gonna make some adjustments here. So we're gonna leave our exposure at 1 and our white balance. I want to change our white balance from 6800 to 5900. So it gives it a little bit of a blue tinge. It doesn't look as yellow, which is what I'm looking for. So now we got our local exposure, and our local exposure is going to preserve our highlight and shadow details, and it's useful in high dynamic range scenes. So let's leave that enabled. And our highlight we got at 0.25, our shadows at 1, that's fine. I want to move in a little bit. Our focal length is at 18. Let's move in. Let's see what 22 looks like. All right, so 22 looks good. Now we're gonna go our details, and we have vignetting. Our vignetting is at 50%. I don't want to darken my corners that much, and our vignetting is just gonna darken our corners around our scene and our viewport. So let's do vignetting at 35%, and our sharpness is going to sharpen our image. I want to bring that down to 25%. You don't want your images to look too sharp, as I have said before, and because if you make your images look too sharp, they begin to look a little unrealistic, and it's good to have some soft corners in your rendering scene. And as you know, with Revit has a tendency to be kind of rigid, but that's okay. So we're going to do our best to make this scene as realistic as possible, and just follow along and stick around to the end, because we are going to use the path tracer, and we're going to find out how this scene comes out. And then also don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well, and hit that like button for me. All right, so now that we have those guys in, we're going to hit parallelism, and also we can hit align camera, and we're going to just hit the front of this facade here. And as you can see, that just kind of places us in a good view for our scene, and it just kind of moves the camera at a perpendicular angle to the surface of our object. So in this case, our objects are right in front of us here. All right, so now that we have depth of field, we have other options we can use. I'm not going to use depth of field. We can use bloom and flares, composition overlay. So I want to use composition overlay to kind of figure out a good composition. So we kind of have this one here. We have our first house kind of lined up here in this square, which looks pretty good. Okay. All right, so what you just saw me do is update my scene here so we can lock it in. All right, so now that we have our scene locked in and we have our composition selected, we can go back to our composition overlays and click none to remove that. All right, so now let's go ahead and activate our path tracer. So right now our path tracer is very dark. It's set to low quality, and it doesn't look very good at all. It looks like we're creating a night scene, and we're not creating a night scene, not today. All right, so let's crank our quality up. Let's see if we can go 1024 and let's do 30 for our max bounce. All right, so right now my scene is saving. As you all know, I set my save settings to in different intervals or in increments to 15 minutes to make sure that if Twinmotion crashes on me, that I don't lose my place and I know everybody knows how frustrating that can be. All right, so we're gonna keep it at 30. We have emissive material selected. We have denoiser selected. And for our fireflies, let's see, we're gonna leave that at 8. Okay, everything else looks fine. We'll leave our fireflies at 8. We'll leave our max bounce at 30. We will increase our samples per pixel to 2048, but right now I like to gradually make adjustments before I increase my samples per pixel. So let's go to FX and let's make some changes to our contrast. So right now our contrast is at 50%. Let's make it 38%. And we're going to change our saturation to 45%. Okay. Let's figure out, let's go back to our environment tab. I want to figure out. So the reason why my scene look as dark as it does is because my intensity changed to 1. So we're going to change that to 20. And as you can see, when we increase the intensity of our HDRI, the scene brightens up a whole lot. So it looks a lot better. You start to see the lighting inside the houses to show, and it looks pretty good. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go back to FX. We still have a few more adjustments to make. Let's go to color gradient. So for this one, you can select different ones, whatever one that you feel looks good or fits the scene that you designed. For this one, I use Vice 2. So let's see if we can find Vice 2. All right. So I'm gonna select Vice 2. All right. So here we also, now that we have our color gradient, we can select a filter. I didn't select a filter for this one, but you can definitely do that if you want to, if you feel a need to. I think in this case, I didn't feel a need to add a filter. So here, now we have our output size to 2. We can increase that to 4K. And if you actually go over, you will hit the tile rendering if you go up to 8K and above, but we'll stick to 4K here. So I told you earlier that we're gonna go back to our render settings and samples per pixel, and we're gonna increase that to 2048 just to give a more sharper and higher quality image. All right. So it's looking pretty good, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button for me, hit the notification bell. I think the rendering came out pretty good, and check it out on renderreboot.com, and we will be back with another one.